Now at 5, the only suspect convicted in the disappearance of 2 girls from Welch, Oklahoma more than 20 years ago is released from prison. Plus, how the 4-State Farm Show in Pittsburgh is connecting farmers with scientists. And
G7 leaders announced another round of sanctions against Russia, and Ukraine's president is set to make an in-person appeal for more support. I'm Willie James Inman in Washington with the latest on the G7 summit in Japan.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
It's not just for farmers. We're live tonight at the annual 4-State Farm Show at Pitt State's Plaster Center. More than 700 exhibitors are displaying products and services both inside and outside of the building. They range from farm, garden, and lawn supplies to products for home improvement, furniture, hunting, clothing, and jewelry. Visitors can also find food, drinks, and plenty of giveaways. Day 1 of the farm show is over now, but the farm show continues tomorrow and Sunday. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. We're going to have more on the farm show in just a few minutes, but first some of the day's top news. Authorities in Joplin say a man tried to abduct a girl at yesterday's Third Thursday event. Police got a call about the attempted abduction just after 9 o'clock last night. They say a 5-year-old girl was by a bounce house near 3rd and Main when a man apparently grabbed her. The girl's mother and bystanders confronted the man and prevented him from getting away. That man, 28-year-old Johnny Earhart, was arrested and has been charged with child kidnapping. That child is unharmed. The only living suspect in the 1999 disappearance of Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman in northeast Oklahoma has been released from prison. Ronnie Busick was released at 6:30 this morning. A judge sentenced him to 10 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to accessory to murder. He served 2 years and 4 months of a sentence. He will now serve 5 years probation, one of which will be supervised. The case began in 1999 when investigators discovered the bodies of Danny and Kathy Freeman inside their burning home in Welch. Authorities soon learned the couple's daughter, 16-year-old Ashley Freeman, and her friend, 16-year-old Laura Bible, were missing. For 24 years, authorities have searched different areas of northeast Oklahoma and other surrounding states in hopes of finding the girls' remains, but nothing has ever been found. It is rainy outside, but fortunately, we are inside. We're in the beautiful Plaster Center at Pitt State for the farm show, the 4-State Farm Show. Hundreds of exhibitors have been here today, and we'll be back again tomorrow and the next day.
I've never been here. This is one amazing
massive,
building.
isn't it?
Yeah, it really
Fabulous.
is. But like you said, it is raining outside. We have showers, even a couple random little thunder showers, which have been moving through. The rain has actually picked up a bit over the past hour or two. This is our back ban. It's going to take a few hours to get through. So if you have any evening outdoor activities, it's definitely going to be on the wet side, at least for the next couple hours. And then this rain is going to start to work out. We're going to clear out. We're going to drop back upper 40s later on tonight, so a little bit cooler. Now, Dow, things are really going to improve by the time we head into the weekend, so we're going to be talking about that here in just a bit.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Thanks, Doug. The National Institute for Materials Advancement at Pitt State today held a 1-hour workshop during this 4-State Farm Show. It was called FARMS, F-A-R-M-S, Farmers Accelerating Research in Material Science is what that stands for. The workshop aimed to connect farmers, ranchers, and scientists from NEMA. Scientists hope to gather valuable insight into agricultural challenges that can be effectively tackled through advances in polymers and plastics.
Maybe it's mud on the tractor tires, maybe it's spray drift with herbicides, maybe it's some stuff that they can't have behind the barn, like a bunch of plastic totes or hay netting, just any challenges that farmers had. One thing came out was what to do with used motor oil. So is there a way to recycle that into the system using polymer science? That
workshop is going to run through Sunday. The Coffeyville, Kansas Historical Society is receiving a $100,000 grant. It's part of the State Park Revitalization and Investment in Notable Tourism program. The Society says it'll use the grant to revitalize and upgrade the Dalton Defenders Museum, also the Brown Mansion, providing a better experience for visitors. President Biden is in Hiroshima, Japan, the city where the U.S. dropped an atomic bomb to hasten the end of World War II. But it's a war being waged today that was the main focus of discussions as world leaders from the 7 leading economies meet. Reporter Willie James Inman has more details from the White House.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is headed to Japan to meet with world leaders at the G7 summit. He's making the dangerous trip in order to ask for more weapons and support for his country's war against Russia.
Ukrainians have said they want to go on the offense. We all have to make sure that they have all the support that they need to do so.
The Ukrainians have been pushing for F-16 fighter jets. Britain and Europe appear ready to provide them, but the U.S. has been holding off.
Our priority has been giving Ukraine the air defense systems that they need, and also their other priorities include armor and artillery.
But the U.S. did announce that it will help train Ukrainian pilots on F-16s provided by other countries. The Biden administration has been concerned that supplying the jets could escalate the war, at least in the eyes of Russian President Vladimir Putin.
We want to make sure that as we support Ukraine, we aren't making it worse for the Ukrainian people by having this war escalate to be exactly what Putin wants it to be and claims it to be, a war about the West versus Russia or NATO versus Russia.
The G7 leaders discussed Ukraine during a session Friday and announced more sanctions against Russia. They also spent part of the day laying a wreath at the site in Hiroshima, where the very first atomic bomb was used in war. And they condemned President Putin for threatening to use nuclear weapons against Ukraine. Willie James Inman, CBS.
G7 powers say they're expanding their sanctions to include any industrial machinery, tools, or other technology that Russia could use to rebuild its war machine. Still ahead, we're going to be back live at the 4-State Farm Show. Topping today's Health Watch, health officials are urging people at high risk of mpox to get 2 doses of the vaccine. A new study published by the CDC found 2 doses of Jynneos vaccine were 86% effective in preventing infection from the virus, formerly known as monkeypox. That's a 10% improvement over a single dose. The CDC is warning there could be an mpox resurgence over the coming months. A new study out of the University of Bern in Switzerland finds masks and portable air cleaners reduce the spread of COVID in schools. Researchers found in 2 secondary schools concentrations of the airborne virus were 70% lower in classrooms with mask mandates and 40% lower where air cleaners were used. Today marks Inflammatory Bowel Disease Day. 4 women suffering from the disease took a simple DNA test. Then they found out they had a much deeper connection. Reporter Michael George sat down with them.
When these 4 then complete strangers took at-home DNA tests, they never expected to find a new family.
I always wanted a sister, and then to find out I have multiple sisters is just wild.
Anna, Nicole, Katie, and Kristen learned they were all half-sisters from the same sperm donor. They became friends fast and later learned they shared something else in common.
I remember messaging, does anyone else have IBD? Because, this is something I deal with.
All 4 suffer from an inflammatory bowel disease, ulcerative colitis. It's made life difficult for all of them.
Going out to eat is just unbearable, and then always having to know where a restroom is. And it's very personal and embarrassing to explain to people.
But now they weren't suffering alone. They shared medical advice and support.
What was it like to find out that you're not alone?
It was amazing and such a blessing. Having support and sisters you can talk to is just everything.
Dr. Feza Remzi, director of the Inflammatory Bowel Disease Center at NYU Langone, treats 3 of the sisters. He performed a J-pouch procedure on 2 of them, which involves removing the colon and rectum.
The patient's quality of life dramatically improved compared to before. It's a big deal when they don't have any need of urgency or incontinence.
Now these 4 continue the fight together.
The amount of love that we have for one another is unreal.
More than sisters, they're also each other's support group. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Genetics definitely play a role in inflammatory bowel disease, but studies show close to 80% of patients don't have a close relative with the disease. Where you live might play a role in weight loss. That's the finding from Dutch researchers out of the University Medical Center Rotterdam. They asked participants to answer questions about the safety and attractiveness of their neighborhood, and the people with the highest feeling of safety also had the greatest decreases in both weight and waist circumference. Doug Heddy returns next with his forecast. Again, we are live from the 4-State Farm Show at Pitt State's Plaster Center.
Well, of course, we're out here live in Pittsburgh. We made it through another work week, and of course, we've had the rain outside for us today, and this is going to be sticking around as we go through the evening hours. Here's a nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just west of Seneca, Missouri. You can see the clouds, you can see the showers. So the roads are going to be wet for the next several hours. So if you are going to be out, watch out for that. At least we're not seeing anything too strong or severe. Where you do see the yellows popping up on the radar, that is at least moderate rain, but most of this is fairly light, and you can see it slowly rotating out of here from west to east. But everybody across the entire 4-state area is getting rain at this point in time, and this is going to slowly work out of here as we go through the next few hours. Let's go ahead and zoom in. You can see from Pittsburgh to Joplin to Neosho, the light showers continuing. We do have some pockets of moderate showers once you get out across southeastern Kansas, Montgomery County, and parts of Cherokee County, and then a little bit more spottier once you get through northeastern Oklahoma, and then it picks up a bit from Benton County, parts of McDonald County, Berry County, and then stretching over towards Springfield and Branson. I really think this rain's going to stick around until about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then it'll start to move out. It's been fairly light. Most of us have been under 2/10 of an inch, under 1/4 of an inch. A little bit heavier once you get out toward Montgomery County and then down toward Grand Lake. But we are going to clear out, and it looks pretty good as we head toward the weekend. So most of this rain is gone by 8 or 9 p.m. Then we clear out, temperatures all the way down into the upper 40s later on tonight. So it is going to be kind of chilly as we start the weekend, but overall we're going to have a fairly nice weekend. Cold front has shifted through, so now we have the northerly winds, 57 in Fort Scott, we have 57 in Parsons, 63 in Miami. Carthage is sitting at 61 degrees. It's wet, 7th and Rangeline, sitting at 60 with those showers. Northerly winds too, 10 to 20, so the winds have picked up a little bit, makes it feel a little bit colder. But this wave is pushing east. If you look back toward the west, not a whole bunch going on, so that's our weather as we head into the weekend, as we start with sunny skies for Saturday morning. We warm up actually pretty quickly. The air mass is going to be dry, so I think we'll pop mid-60s by noon, and then most of us will top out right around 70 degrees as we get into the afternoon. So Saturday is a great day to get outside. Tomorrow night, another nice night, kind of chilly again. We drop back near 50 degrees, and then as we head into Sunday, a little bit warmer. Most of us will go 74, 75 degrees by the time we head into Sunday afternoon. So if we break it down, 70 tomorrow, chilly starts. Sunny Saturday, 73 by the time we head into Sunday. Next chances for rain are going to roll in by Tuesday. We have these weak little upper level waves that are going to push in, giving us some afternoon pop-up showers and thunderstorms. I really think these will stick around all the way into Memorial Weekend, which is next weekend, believe it or not. So we are going to have some rain chances, but temperatures look fantastic. Let's go 70 tomorrow, down to 49 Saturday night, 73 on Sunday, 76 on Monday. So we get a nice little stretch of dry conditions through the weekend into early next week. Pop-up storms Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We warm into the lower 80s, and then again thunderstorm chances as we head into Memorial Weekend, but temperatures 70s and 80s, and at least we're going to get nice weather for the weekend, because I need to mow my yard. With all this rain over the past couple of weeks, it's really sprouted up, so I got a little bit of a weed jungle.
I mowed like 2 days ago, and I need to remow.
Yeah.
That's how fast it's growing.
That's what we need. We've been in a drought, so we'll take whatever rain we can get.
I know some facts about the 4-State Farm Show.
Oh, let's hear it. Yeah.
Started in 1975.
Okay.
It means it's been going on 48 years.
Yeah.
It means it's older than one of us.
That would be me.
I guess that's true. Yeah. Started with, guess how many booths to begin with?
I'm going to say they started with like 15.
Oh, no. 4 times that many. 60, but right now, 600 plus.
Crazy.
700, 800 maybe. And not all are inside this Plaster Center, and of course the Plaster Center is on cavernous space, big enough for a football field, but there are also lots of exhibits outside. They have tractors and other big farm implements, all on hard surfaces. For many years they did it outside, and it was hot, sometimes muddy. Now it's climate controlled and perfect.
Maybe they'll let me drive a tractor.
Don't count on that. I hope not. Coming up, why negotiators say talks about the debt ceiling have hit a stumbling block. Topping today's Consumer Watch, debt ceiling negotiations appear to have hit a stumbling block. Less than 2 weeks before the country is expected to run out of money to pay its bills. Reporter Willie James Inman has the latest from Washington.
Republican Congressman Garrett Graves emerged from talks to raise the nation's debt ceiling Friday, calling White House negotiators unreasonable.
What do you mean press pause?
This stalemate follows the House Freedom Caucus calling on Speaker Kevin McCarthy to stop negotiations until the Senate votes on the debt ceiling bill the House passed in April.
The House passed a strong bill that has great savings in it, and it's responsible, and it puts us on a path to bend the curve.
That bill would raise the debt limit and slash future spending, including cuts to some of President Biden's signature priorities. The White House issued a statement Friday saying there are real differences between the parties on budget issues and talks will be difficult. The White House tells CBS News that no further talks are scheduled at this time. President Biden will be waking up in Japan for meetings at the G7, where aides will brief him on the impasse.
We've got to get movement by the White House, and we don't have any movement yet. So, yeah, we got to pause.
McCarthy has said the two sides need to strike a deal this weekend in order to get it through Congress before June 1st, when the Treasury Department estimates the country will begin defaulting on its bills. On Wall Street, news of the breakdown in talks sent stocks plummeting. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
Some Senate Democrats would like to see President Biden invoke the 14th Amendment and pay the debt anyway. President Biden has said invoking the 14th Amendment would trigger a massive legal fight and could do some economic harm as well. Home sales dropped for a second month in April. The National Association of Realtors says existing home sales dipped 3.4% from March. But it's an even bigger drop when compared to last year, a loss of 23%. Mortgage rates have been climbing and were near 7% when many of the homes sold in April went under contract. The National Association of Realtors chief economist says fluctuating mortgage rates, limited inventory, and job gains have created a push-pull in housing demand. Korean car makers Kia and Hyundai have agreed to a $200 million settlement over claims their vehicles are too easy to steal. The class action settlement could benefit as many as 9 million vehicle owners who suffered property loss. The problem was discovered in some 2015 to 2019 models, including the Hyundai Santa Fe, Hyundai Tucson, Kia Sportage, and the Kia Forte. Thieves could use a USB cable to start the engines on models that had turnkey ignition switches instead of push buttons. General Motors is recalling nearly 700,000 Chevy Equinoxes and GMC Terrains from model years 2020 to 2023. A problem with the anchor bars can prevent child seats from being installed. And Ford Motor is recalling more than 422,000 vehicles, some for a second time, to fix malfunctioning rear cameras. That includes certain Ford Explorers, plus Lincoln Aviators and Corsairs. A final check of the forecast up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Steve Hartman takes us on the road to meet an 89-year-old gravedigger who refuses to retire. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on that workshop here at the 4-State Farm Show connecting farmers with scientists, plus what experts are saying about the outlook for this year's wheat crop. And we're going to hear from the MSSU baseball team after their regional tournament opener win yesterday. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Again, we are in the Plaster Center at PSU for the 4-State Farm Show. Wrapped up for today, but it will resume tomorrow and then on Sunday.
Yeah.
Rainy out there now, but it's going to be nice for the weekend.
Yeah, the weekend looks great. We are going to have the showers sticking around for about the next 3 hours or so, and then we're going to clear out all the way down to about 49 later on tonight. Let's go 70 tomorrow, 73 on Sunday, so the weekend's looking pretty good.
Yeah, we'll take that for sure. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here at the Farm Show for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.